Look, we need to talk about what just happened on The Weekly Show. If you haven't seen the clip yet, brace yourself. It's one of those rare, unscripted moments in modern politics that makes you stop dead in your tracks, rewind, and ask, did she really just say that? We're deep into 2025 now. The dust from the 2024 election has settled, mostly, and we're all trying to move forward. You'd think that with the campaign long over, the polished talking points would finally be put away in favor of some raw, unfiltered honesty. We crave it. We deserve it. That's exactly why we tune into Jon Stewart, right? He's our voice of reason in a world that often feels like it's gone completely off the rails. He asks the questions we're all screaming at our screens. So, when former Vice President Kamala Harris sat down with him recently as part of her media tour for her new memoir, 107 Days, we expected some real talk, maybe some reflection, maybe even a little admission of, yeah, that was a chaotic mess. Instead, we got a moment that didn't just surprise Jon Stewart, it practically knocked the wind out of him. And honestly, it knocked the wind out of a lot of us. The claim that stopped the show. The conversation turned, as it inevitably must, to former President Joe Biden. The questions about his capacity to serve another 4 years were the elephant in the room for practically his entire last year in office. It was the worry whispered at dinner tables, shouted on cable news, and anxiously discussed in group chats across the country. Stewart, in his classic, straight-shooter style, gave Harris an opening to be candid. The campaign is over. The stakes are different now. It was a chance to pull back the curtain. But when the topic of Biden's fitness for a second term came up, Harris didn't flinch. She didn't offer a nuanced take on the difficulties of aging under pressure. She looked Stewart dead in the eye and claimed that Joe Biden was fully competent to serve a second term. Pause for a second, let that sink in. After everything we saw, the debates, the gaffes, the undeniable signs of slowing down that we all witnessed with our own eyes, she doubled down. Stewart as the audience surrogate, Jon Stewart's reaction was instantaneous and utterly relatable. It was the exact same face everyone watching made. It wasn't angry, it was just pure, unfiltered disbelief. Do you really? He asked. It wasn't a gotcha question. It was a genuine human reaction. Do you really believe that? Because if you do, you might be the only one left who does. Harris responded with a firm, yeah, I do. Stewart, clearly taken aback, confessed, that surprises me actually. Talk about an understatement. It didn't just surprise him, it felt like a disconnect from reality. It's that feeling when someone tells you the sky is green while you're both standing outside looking at a brilliant blue expanse. It makes you question their perception and it feels almost insulting to yours. The distinction that didn't land. Here's where it got even stickier. Harris tried to explain her stance by drawing a distinction that for many of us just doesn't hold water in the real world. She argued there is a difference between running for president and being president. The implication being that Biden perhaps lacked the stamina for the grueling rigors of the campaign trail, the rallies, the constant travel, the media blitz, but still had the chops to actually do the job of leader of the free world. On paper, maybe that sounds like a clever political pivot, but Stewart wasn't having it, and neither were we. He pushed back immediately and beautifully. He pointed out the obvious. The presidency isn't a desk job you can quietly manage from 9 to 5. It's arguably the most demanding, high-stakes, physically and mentally exhausting job on the planet. Stewart described it as a marathon run at a sprint with tomatoes being thrown at you. Exactly. You can't separate the stamina needed to campaign from the stamina needed to govern during a global crisis. At 3 a.m. attempting to divorce the two feels like splitting hairs to justify a situation that the American people had already judged for themselves. Why this hits an emotional nerve. Why does this exchange matter so much right now? Why are we still talking about it days later? Because it touches on something deeper than just political disagreement. It touches on trust. When we see something with our own eyes, when we collectively experience concern for a leader's well-being and capability, and then are told by those in power that what we're seeing isn't real, it hurts. It feels like gaslighting. We wanted Harris, in this post-election clarity, to say, you know what? It was terrifying. We were all worried, but we were trying to hold it together. That would have been human. That would have been relatable. Vulnerability is a strength, especially when you're no longer fighting for votes. Instead, by sticking to the old script, it feels like the political machinery is still more important than leveling with the people. It reminds us why so many feel cynical about politics in the first place. We crave authenticity. We are desperate for leaders who will talk to us like adults, who will admit when things are messy or when tough calls were made. When that opportunity for honesty is bypassed in favor of maintaining a party line that no longer serves a purpose, it's just disappointing. The takeaway: Jon Stewart's shock was our shock. It was a moment of shared reality breaking through the rehearsed narratives of Washington. As we move further into this new political era, let's hope this moment serves as a wake-up call. We don't need leaders who pretend everything is perfect. We need leaders who respect us enough to admit when it's not. Until then, thank goodness we have voices like Stewart's to raise an eyebrow, lean in, and ask the simple, devastating question we're all thinking. Do you really?